Hello and welcome back to the STB Racing League Tier 2 season. And tonight we head to the Netherlands for the first time in STB. We had the Tier 1 race yesterday and we're joined now with all the Tier 2 drivers, second time round. So yeah, this should be a very exciting one. And as I mentioned that, it has started to rain in the early stages of this qualifying session. So those people that are still in the pits are really going to struggle here. But yes, I am joined tonight by a commentator this time, not on my own. I'm joined by F1 Gravity in the commentary box. So how are you tonight, Gravity?
I'm doing pretty good. It's looking exciting, especially it's already started to rain.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were talking just before as the session got underway. It was looking dark, and the pit lane looked as if there was a bit of standing water. But yeah, it has started to pour down already in this session. So there are still two people in the pit lane, and we have a driver off in sector 2. That'll be Davy, as we watch Surat coming to the final corner. He'll be the second one to settle up. There is Mercedes ahead of him, who will be the first one to come across the line now.
I think he's just starting his lap.
They are starting their lap, yeah. And Surat sets a 9.3.
That's not too bad considering it's damp out there.
Kata's a long way back. Nivellari's put a 9.7 in early on. And Typhon's getting held up here by Verstappen trying to start his lap. So already we've got a bit of traffic. Between Nivellari's off at turn 1 on the exit. And he's getting a nice slipstream now. Up the line, he's on a 10.1 though. That's not great for him, as we see Dan coming up to the line now. BTX puts himself P3. And Enzo is not out because he has disconnected from the session. So he's only just got back in. Dan Boss goes P5. Who else has still got to set their laps? Matt is on a lap. And
yeah, I think it's a bit of a mistake for people like Matt to have not come out immediately. Because obviously the track's just going to get wetter and wetter.
We're already 5 minutes in, so they've obviously spent a lot of time in the pit lane. Yeah, it's not helped them at all. And Matt up to the line, takes the shortest run he can. Only a 10.7. And we'll see Maudi now. And he's off at the final corner. Big crash for Maudi. And he's lost his front wing. He's lucky to still be in the session, but I think that is him done with. A massive crash on the exit. I think the conditions are already treacherous as we see Alpha Tauri running over a bit of debris from Maudi's front wing. Verstappen now coming through the final corner. And
yeah, that's a nightmare
up to the line to set a lap. Yeah, long way down, 12.0. So I think we're only 5 minutes into the session, but this could be your grid already sorted. We see Kevin still on the track, but he's on an in lap. So yeah, I don't see anybody improving in the session. We see more front wing in the entry of the pit lane there. Yeah, that's a nightmare for Matt in particular, who's in this title fight, as well as Enzo. So yeah, I don't know what was going on with the Mercedes team. They just didn't seem to send Matt out.
Yeah, Surat getting out first. He must have known the rain was coming. Set the lap in early, and he's on pole right now because of it.
Well, obviously you've got to have the pace around here to set a pole position lap. But yeah, I think it was mostly to do with whoever's at first out on track is going to have the fastest lap. Verstappen is still out on the circuit on his in lap. He won't be improving.
Enzo's come out on a set of mediums. Mediums? Intermediate
even. Okay. I mean,
a few drivers
there's no harm in
set a
trying
lap
for the
time.
drivas.
So as long as he completes a lap,
yeah, exactly.
He'll go up a couple positions.
He's sort of battling for P12 at the moment. I don't think he's going to get anywhere near the top 10. Or even Verstappen on a 12 flat. So, I mean, we'll see what he can do. But yeah, I don't expect much more action in this qualifying session. But yeah, it's first Dutch Grand Prix weekend here at STB. It's a great track to have on the calendar. I would say it's definitely one that some people will question whether it should be maybe on the Formula 1 calendar, because overtaking can be quite difficult. But it's great to have a Dutch Grand Prix. There's loads of Dutch fans in Formula 1. For them to have a home Grand Prix as such is really, really good for the sport.
Interesting to see some people, a lot of people are going on to intermediates, and a couple are coming out the pits on their outlap now, which makes me wonder whether there's rain in the race. Maybe they're getting some practice in. Because if it were me, I don't know if I'd be going out.
The track doesn't even look that wet at the moment. The drivers aren't picking up any sprays. We see Enzo's on that, and he is just understeering everywhere. I think the track. I mean, it could possibly still be the slicks that are the quicker tyre with the greasy track at the moment.
Yeah, I think riding on board with Matt, he still had his DRS open, so that obviously hasn't been disabled yet.
Yeah, Enzo's not opening his DRS flap, which is interesting. I'm not sure if he's got a DRS failure in this session, so that would be insult to injury for the Racing Point driver who's already disconnected from the session. But he's going to start his lap now by the looks of it. Or is he? He's not up in his ERS. Yeah, he's on no ERS and there's no DRS flap open, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Maybe it's just a glitch from my end.
Well, I have to see on board. I haven't seen on board with anyone else. As you see, Matt is coming through. Fast flowing first sector. And in these conditions, very, very easy to lose it. As we saw Maudi as well through the final corner, he had a big incident. And he'll be definitely disappointed that he didn't get a lap in, because he had high hopes for this Dutch Grand Prix. He said that his pace was very good. So, yeah, he's going to be disappointed. Yeah, Matt is using his DRS, so DRS still enabled. The rain is still falling ever so slightly, but it is easing up as we see a yellow flag at the final corner. That is for Typhon. He has had a spin as well as he comes into the pits now. But Matt comes to the final corner now, and you can already see on his lap time he's a good 9 seconds down on where he needs to be with inter tyres on. But yeah, there are a few drivers on track, so yeah, there definitely is a possibility of rain, I think.
I don't know why they'd be out there otherwise. Yeah,
I suppose it's the more running the better. I mean, the longer you're sat in the garage, the slower you'll be off the start, realistically, because you're all sat there doing not a lot. But yeah, could possibly be rain in the race. We saw in the Tier 1 race yesterday, it was very grey and cloudy in both the sessions, but there was no rain. The strategy for the race should be an easy one-stop for all the drivers, especially with the fresh tyres, if it is dry, that is. I expect most drivers will go on softs to hards, but those starting outside the top 10 will definitely they'll be tempted to go onto the hards at the start of the race.
Yeah, it might be a worthwhile gamble, because although it's difficult to overtake whilst you're on the same compound of tyre, all these corners are quite high speed, and you get a large advantage just by running that softer set of tyres. So it will probably prove less of an issue. Just with the extra grip you'll have.
I'll also mention the gravity. Second all the way down to 6th. It's only separated by 700ths. So, with only getting one lap in, just, locking up ever so slightly or drifting wide or not going too deep on the brakes, just one corner out of the lap could have put you from all the way up in second down to 6th.
That's a good point. A lot of corners on this lap. Anyway, if you make a mistake through one, you're going to be compromised through the next two. Especially at the end of the first sector.
the whole track is sort of just one corner leading into another. You have to get a rhythm, and you've got to try and connect the corners together pretty much. And it's just a race of attrition essentially.
The final corner as well, absolutely crucial to get a solid run on the main straight.
Tavares understeers into the wall there at the corner we were just talking about. Final corner, and he boxes. He got mass understeer on entry. We see BTX is coming through now. And I think we've had someone else off as well. There's a Racing Point who's just coming to the pits. BTX goes into pits as well. Yeah, 4 minutes left. The rain is still falling, so it's unlikely that anybody is going to set a better time unless the rain is going to stop now. We watch FNT Dan Boss on his debut, new driver into the league. He's just got no front end grip.
He's absolutely livid with his mistake.
Yeah, so Maudi not happy. But he's got plenty of opportunities in the race. Let's try and make up.
We've still got Kevin out there in the set of mediums.
Yeah, Dan is as well, just behind him on track. But he's on a set of intermediates. So yeah, two different strategies realistically for this, but they both pull into the pits. And the only driver out is GGT Verstappen at the moment.
Danger Man's coming back out on a set of dries.
Oh, I guess medium tyres? It's a set of softs.
Back
and
the softs.
Gravity, the rain has stopped.
It is looking a little lighter,
isn't it? Well, I'm on board with
stopped.
Danger Man, and there is no rain. So what? I mean, yeah, Danger Man the first one to go out, but I think there's still time for drivers to improve. But the track is obviously going to be very, very greasy still. But for those, you know, Enzo, Maudi, they were saying that, you know, they're pretty confident for this race. You know, if they can get a quick enough lap on that final run, then I don't see why they can't possibly get up into P10 at a minimum. So, but we'll go on board with Danger Man, and he's just gone deep at the end of the straight. I think the grip on the track at the moment is minimal, to say the least, as drivers are going to be looking to come out of the pits now if they want to set another lap. So we see a Haas driver coming out.
Well, if Danger Man's put enough fuel in, he could have a couple attempts just to feel the track getting quicker and quicker as it dries out.
But he seems to be on 0 ERS as well. Not going up into hot lap. Yeah, you just see the understeer. The front just washes away. So I think it's going to be difficult to set a faster lap. I think the rain has eased up just a little bit too late in the session.
Yeah, you can just see how little speed he can carry through these corners compared to if it were dry.
It's almost as if it is wet, the speed that he's taking. Yeah, he just understeers off, so this is not a good lap for Danger Man. As we see, Enzo is out on an out lap. He's called it very late. There's a couple of drivers coming out, Gravity, but I don't think they're going to make it to the flag. They're going to have a very fast out lap. If they are going to make it, there's a McLaren who most definitely is not going to make it.
But that's the issue, though. They probably could make it if it were a bone-dry track. That might be what they were judging it off.
And we see anybody that is left in the pit lane now will definitely not make it. It's going to be Typhon who's going to be right on the edge. We see a Haas has span on pit exit. Is that Wazzy starting his lap? It is. So Wazzy's span at turn 1 already.
Looking on board with Davi on his outlap here, there is so much more grip than what we were just spectating with Danger Man. So it's
So
definitely
yeah, I
drying up
mean,
quickly.
you see the Matty, Tavares, and Davi are all battling for track position here. I mean, they're not going to make it to the flag. Matt's going very slowly, but he's not going to make it to the flag, Gravity. And that's why Davi and Tavares are coming past him,
Yeah,
because they need
I
to
don't
get a
know what
rhythm
he's
and start
doing.
their lap. They're not going to make it to the flag. I don't think anyone's going to make it to the flag, Gravity.
Unless we've got a little glitch here.
We see, who is it? Is
That's
it?
still waiting.
No, it's Nivellari. And even Nivellari hasn't made it to the line, but we have no checkered flag, so it might be a timing glitch on our end as to why they're going so slowly and so late. So we will watch Nivellari now on board. Yeah, and you can see there's so much more grip than they had in that early stage. So yeah, the times could start tumbling now. Yeah, we see a massive queue coming up through the final corner there, so I think it's a timing glitch from the game. And they all should have time to set a lap. And didn't quite catch the delta time of Nivellari there. I don't know if you saw that.
No, not quite.
But yeah, we'll see if he can drag himself higher up the field. He is currently on the second row of the grid, but even with half a tenth, he will be up on the front row. So any time that he can gain will be crucial. As we see, the checker flag is out now. So those that have not made it to the line, as we see the Malai goes very wide. It's going to cost him a little bit of time as he keeps the car tight on the inside, comes up to the line. It looks like a decent lap from Nivellari. He's come across the line and he has set provisional pole with a 9.1. And there are drivers improving as Tavares can't improve his lap. Davi puts himself up into P3. Great lap from him. As we see Matt's come across the line. He's a 9.6 up to 4th place. Next will be BTX across the line. And in P6, can he drag himself anywhere up towards the top 2 rows? He's coming up to the line now. And across the line he does. He goes P2 with a 9.2. And now we see Surat. What can Surat do? Coming up to the line. He hasn't got his DRS open and he's down on his time. As we see TMR Cat across the line and he goes P5. And Dambos will be the next cross the line. He's got a racing point in front of him.
Yeah, right on the racing line.
Yeah, and he goes P2, I believe, Gravity. Dambos with a late lap. Now it's telling me 9th. No, there we go, 2nd place for
P2.
F&T Dambos. So on his debut, starting on the front row. Great result from him. But it is a double Brazilian front row. And
I
wow,
wonder if
that
he
is
hadn't
close
been
between
held.
the top 3.
If that racing point wasn't sat on the final corner, whether
Well, I think the issue was it was a ghost car as he'd already crossed the line. I believe it was Enzo, but F&T Kevin does take pole position for the Dutch Grand Prix. F&T Dambos just missing out in P2. Nivellari by 1,000th down in P3. FRA BTX in P4. Surat is P5. Davi in P6. TMR Cat P7. Matty will be disappointed down in P8. Tavares in P9. GGT Verstappen P10. Typhon down in 11th. Wazzy 12th. He'll be disappointed as well. Dangerman 13th. Maudi didn't quite get that lap in on that final run. And Enzo, again, didn't get the run in either. He will start dead last in P15.
Well, that was a bizarre qualifying session.
It was, yeah, it was
Started
very
off
strange.
bone dry, ended up bone dry. It's quite challenging for the drivers doing their last laps because I guess you don't know how much grip there is. You just have to trust that it's dry enough, and hope you have the grip.
Well, we'll see now what the weather's like in the race, and it is raining. We've got rain for the race, so yeah, that is that's cat amongst the pigeons. Definitely going to spice things up a little bit for the race. I think it'd be interesting to see if anyone's gone for dry setups or wet setups. Obviously, we don't know what the weather is going to do later on in the race. It could only be starting wet for a few laps and dry up. But strategy is definitely going to be an odd one for them to call. Obviously, hards can go. They can go around about 25 laps maximum, but you don't really want to be doing that many on them. So again, it will be what the rain and what the weather's going to be doing later on in the race.
Well, wet pace is very different to dry pace.
Yes.
Some drivers can be absolutely rapid in the dry around this track, but as soon as it starts raining, they just lose all their confidence and can potentially tumble through the field.
Well, everyone is on the intermediate tyres. No surprise there. We've got a lot more rains than we saw in quali. But yeah, Kevin leads away on pole position. He had a big slide there. I thought he nearly lost the car, but interesting.
Trying to get heat in
yeah.
a bit of an extreme way.
I mean, we saw Kevin and Matt were both in the Tier 1 races yesterday as reserve drivers. Yeah, and Kevin had pretty decent pace throughout the race, battling in the midfield. Same with Matt. But obviously Matt,
but very
P8,
different qualifying positions between them.
Yeah. I believe Matt did beat Kevin in the end, if I am correct. So yeah, he's got a lot of work to do, but he has had a lot of races this season so far where he's had to charge his way through the field, and he has done it on multiple occasions, so he's got the ability to, but in the wet it's going to be very, very difficult.
What is going to be very important is the start. Completely different level of grip to in the dry.
And yeah,
and there's a lot more to gain.
Wet starts.
A lot more to lose.
Wet start practice. Maudi is really backing up the field here. Like, that is not great. I'm sure the stewards will have a look at that, as he's left a massive, massive gap to the car in front. But yeah, Enzo and Maudi coming up to the final grid slots now, as they take their place. So, here we go then. We've got 5 lights ahead of the drivers for the first Dutch Grand Prix. And we've got lights out on our screen, but they're still on the grid waiting. So here we go. And lights out now, and away they go. Seems like a decent start for both the front runners. It looks like Surratt's had a brilliant start in between the whole of the second row, as he's now around the outside of turn 1. But BTX has a big slide on exit, and Dan Boss and Kevin are now fighting, coming through turn 2 and turn 3. And Kevin manages to keep the lead. BTX has dropped down a few places, and it looks relatively clean behind all the drivers. We've got some battling between Typhon and Verstappen, and Typhon has got past Verstappen again. And Nivellari has got
lost
past
the position for
Nivellari. Not a good start for the AlphaTauri drivers. He's now got FXBR Davi on the back of him, and he seems to be really struggling in these early stages. He may not have got the tyres warmed up on the formation lap, as Matt has dropped back massively on that opening stage gravity. He's down to P11.
I caught a glimpse of him off the line, and he didn't get the best start, but a disaster must have happened through turn 1. He's lost 3 positions.
We saw Surratt with an absolutely incredible start, straight up the inside. And he's up into P3. That throws him into this race already. Right in contention.
Yeah, we saw the front 2 get away well going into turn 1, and then everyone behind them was battling for third. And Surratt just managed to sneak through and gain 2 positions from the starting grid.
Enzo's made up a few places at the start as well, as we got a massive crash behind Gravity. I'm not sure who's been involved in that. It's Enzo. I think Maudi was caught up.
Staffan's in the pits.
Staffen as well. We didn't quite catch what happened there. There's a few drivers that were involved in that. And Enzo's had to pit as a result. Seems as if someone lost it through the final corner and collected a few drivers. I'm not sure if Maudi was involved and got front wing damage. It looks to be alright for him, but Matt has dropped back as well. And he has lost a chunk of his front wing. So he was involved in that incident. His right hand end plate is missing. It's been an absolute
going from
atrocious
bad to
start
worse.
for the Mercedes driver, yep. And Kata now really pressuring Davi. He could be going for a move out the inside as Davi has a massive slide on exit. But he uses a bit of overtake to stay ahead of the Italian driver. Kata on his return, he missed out last week, but he is back. And Davi's gone deep again. Davi's really struggling in these opening stages. And Kata looking to get past. He's also got Typhon hounding him from behind with Wazzy as well. And Typhon's had a massive moment on the curb. And he's out. And I think did he collect Wazzy? I think Wazzy got away with that. But Typhon has had a spin. He was looking quick early on, but that's his work undone in this session.
Just got a wheel on the curb and there's
Kata's going for the move, gravity.
And
And the outside of Davi can't get the traction. But he is looking like the quicker driver out of the two. And Typhon is out of the session. Kata has a slide on exit, putting the overtake button on. Gives you a massive boost of horsepower onto the rear tyres. And even in the dry, it is a bit of a struggle to get it right.
After losing that position on lap 1, BTX is now right on the back of Nuvolari.
And yeah, Nuvolari's really dropped off the back of Surratt here. Big gap, in fact, 3.7 seconds. Considering he was so close to the front guys on qualifying, maybe he's running a dry setup, and possibly there could be dry weather coming towards the end of the race. And Kata is right at the back of Davi, and they are side by side through the final corner. Kata has to back out, but he's going to get the switch back, and they're going to be side by side through the final corner. Kata dips a wheel on the grass, and they are still side by side coming up the line. Davi gets the better run, and Wazzy is now looking to make the move behind. Davi's giving Kata a bit of a squeeze, but Kata's going to go up the inside. He's not the latest to break though. Davi goes a bit deep. Can Kata now get the move finally done on the Red Bull driver? They're going to be side by side, and they've made a bit of contact, and Kata has spun, and he's collected Wazzy, and he's nearly taken out Maudi as well. And that's disastrous from Kata.
That was such an unfortunate incident. I don't even know what to make of that, really.
On the exit, I think Kata he thought he had the move done, gave a bit of a squeeze, and it just sort of got locked into each other. And Wazzy as well has been collected by that. Massively unfortunate for him. But Kata was looking really quick in the opening stages, so that's a big disappointment for him. We now see Tavares is actually looking like the aggressor onto BTX now. Nuvolari still falling off the back of Surratt. He can't quite keep with the top three guys.
There's a huge gap forming. It's up to 5 seconds.
It was only 3.6 last lap, and he's lost a whole second. So BTX big slide on the final corner. Manages to hold it. Nearly clips the wall on the outside as well. But he's following Nuvolari for now, but I'm sure he wants to get past the Alfa Romeo driver. You see Davi into the pits. I assume he must have done a bit of damage. Can't quite see from this camera yet. I think he's getting a front wing change. So he picked up a bit of damage in that.
YC and Kata also in the pits.
Yep, they both had massive wing damage. Obviously BTX now really closing up to the back of Nuvolari. He seems to get close to him in the first and second sector, but the final sector Nuvolari is a little bit quicker. And you see the short shift in BTX is doing. He's going all the way up to 6th on the exits. Very interesting.
Not sure how much that's helped him there.
I don't think it has.
Right on the back of him.
Yeah, I think that's why he's so slow out of at the end of that middle sector, is because he is short shifting massively. Yeah, Tavares is now looking very feisty, but they can't get close to each other through that final sector. Not close enough to make a move. The front three are still in a train, following each other. The rest of the
we've got 2 groups of 3.
Yeah. Everybody from 7th downwards is massively apart, so they're all running their own races for now. Maudi is up into P7 after all of the incidents, but he is a long way off this train for P4, which I would have thought he would have wanted to be in. And yeah, I just looked at the gap again, Gravity, 7.2 in 6 laps. So I think it is a 3-horse race at this point.
What could save a lot of the drivers now would be a safety car.
Well, I think we have seen a safety car in every Grand Prix in the Tier 2 race so far, as Enzo's made his move on Dangerman. I think Dangerman's had a half spin in the first sector,
the rain
but he's carrying on going.
It's looking a bit dry.
That's a very good point. I don't see any rain falling, and BTX has a big moment on exit again. But yeah, I think the rain has stopped here. And
so the question is,
it could be drying.
When will it be dry enough to put some slicks on?
Yeah, we don't know who's running wet setups at this point, and I think that would be. I mean, if Nuvolari suddenly starts setting purple times, if the rain does stop and the track dries, then obviously we know that he is running a dry setup, and that's why he struggled so much in the first stint. But it's going to be who can call this the best. There is actually, funnily enough, there's 7 different cars in the top 7 drivers. BTX looking up for a move up the inside of Nuvolari. Yeah, there's seven different constructors in the top 7, so those guys will not get held up by teammates pitting at the same time.
That's good news for them. It's good news for us.
Yeah, it'll be the ones behind that
keeps everyone close.
Affected. Yeah, BTX now not. Oh, he's lost it again on exit. He's really struggling on traction. I think he's running a dry setup. That's why he was doing his short shifts early on, trying to protect the rear tyres and not lose too much time. Wazzy's catching up to the back of Danger Man now. Yeah, BTX, he can get really close through the first and second sector, but that final sector, he just drops off the back of Nuvolari again.
Well, I just hopped on board with Kevin to see what he was doing, and he put it into overtake and was completely flat through the final corner. And guys like Nuvolari, they don't manage it until the corner's almost over.
The question is, are they running wet setups? I think, but the looking of their pace, I think that the top 3 are. Maybe they weren't expecting the rain to ease up so early, but yeah.
Well, it's very difficult to tell with this game. It's a little bit of guesswork.
It is indeed.
That being said, over 9 seconds now. That's a huge gap to close up again when it dries out.
Well, I mean, it's perfectly doable if he gets the rain period when it starts drying up. If he can cool when it is time for the dry tyres, then he will gain that time. I think BTX is just struggling so much on the power. He's keeping with Nuvolari for now. Seems to be a very similar pace, all 3 of these drivers. Katter's on the back of Verstappen now. And we'll keep an eye on what he does, see if he can recover his race.
Kevin potentially under a bit of pressure here.
He is. We see Maudi into
Only
the pits.
2 tenths between them.
And he's on a set of softs.
That's bold.
I think it's too early. And Matt as well is into the pits. Onto a set of softs.
There's still spray. There's still water on the track.
Well, let's watch Maudi as he comes out the pits. He's got Enzo in front of him. And it is drying up, but I think it's 1 lap too early. As you see, he's gone deep. He's got Wazzy behind him, so we'll keep an eye on the Delta to see what those 2 are doing in terms of lap times. It is looking dry though.
Comparison.
I do expect the front runners to drive into the pits this lap. We'll watch Kevin come to the final corner. No, they stay out. They've stayed out for another lap. And I would expect them to come into the pits. It's looking a bit drier, so we don't know for
Is
sure.
anyone going to take a chance?
No, they're all staying
No.
out. It doesn't. Maudi's pace doesn't look too bad, and DRS is enabled. So there you go. They've come in a lap too late, I believe, and Maudi could be on for a mega strategy here, Gravity. If he's got the pace on this lap, he can get himself up with this cluster for top 4.
He was a long way behind her. It'll definitely bring
Enzo's
him
into the
closer.
pits. Enzo has come into the pits. He's a long way back. BTX is right at the back of Nevillari now. But yeah, they've got to pit this lap. All the drivers. Will they go for a set of hards, do you think? Will they try and risk it to the end? I don't think they will.
It's definitely possible.
You think so? Well, we see
Yeah.
all of the guys at the back have pitted. We've got 3 people on mediums, 1 on a set of softs, 1 on a set of hards. We'll watch Kevin now coming through the final corner. And
Well, yesterday we saw Hamjam hit lap 11, make it to the end of the set of mediums.
yeah, and they are all into the pits. So we'll have to see as well what the guys behind are doing and where Maudi comes out and all of that. He's on a set of hards. Dan Boss is on a set of hards. Surratt very slow. He's on a set of softs. Surratt's gone for a set of softs. Nivellari's into the pits. BTX into the pits. Tavares all into the pits. And he's gone for a
sorry
set
to
of
interrupt
hards.
you, but Cat has just flown up the inside of Verstappen, and Davies followed him through as well, through the middle sector.
Okay, so interesting as we see there's a mixed gravity of hards and softs with the front runners, and I'm not sure what's happened to Tavares. He is now with Maudi.
He's lost a lot of time.
Nivellari's had a big slide on exit, and here comes BTX. He's onto the grass, and he's overtaken Nivellari. What a move from the AlphaTauri driver. Brave on the grass, and he has got past. He needed to get past Nivellari, who's on a set of hards. And Surratt is now coming past Dan Boss on a set of softs. He's now on the outside, and he's got the move done before the braking zone. So he's looking to make a charge now. And Maudi on the back of Tavares as well on a set of softs. So it'll be interesting to see who out of these hard runners can actually go to the end. They may
It's
have to do a bit
crucial
of
that the
tyre
soft runners
conservation.
make their moves now.
Yeah, and here comes Surratt on Kevin for the lead of the race. It should be an easy move for the Williams driver down the straight with DRS opened. And Kevin doesn't fight it. And Surratt is now into the lead of the race, and he needs to gain as much time as possible on these soft tyres. And we watch behind. Maudi is looking to make a move on Tavares. So Maudi on the charge. Got DRS open, overtake mode. And Tavares is fighting it. But Maudi sets the fastest lap of the race, as he was the first one to put the soft tyres on. Be interesting to see what Dan Boss can do in comparison to Kevin. Oh, Maudi's hit the back of Tavares. And that's an interesting way to get round. I'm not sure if he got any front wing damage from that. But he is past Tavares. Very questionable move. As we see a Haas off at Wazzy. Wazzy at the fast right. And he's nearly collected a few drivers. But his race has not gone well at all here. And he just dives into the pits last minute. He's retired from the session, so that's his race done. Maudi has let Tavares back through. So obviously he knows that the move was not legal. So he made a mistake on the brakes. I think he got away with damage, which is good for him. As we see Surratt setting the fastest lap, 16.1. And he's
not a very
2.5
long
ahead
pit
already,
lane.
Gravity.
Yeah, it's not a very long pit lane. So pit stops only maybe 15, 16 seconds. It's the shortest of pretty much all the tracks.
Sorry, Gravity. Here
But
comes
you
Maudi.
don't usually gain that much time.
Up the inside.
on-
Can't get the move. Yeah, I think if there is a race you're going to do a two tops, Maudi now goes at the inside of Tavares. They are side by side coming through turn 4. Maudi ran all the way around the outside. Can he find the grip on the exit? He can, and he gets a move past Tavares this time.
That was a super move.
Yeah, he's had the grip around the outside, and now needs to get after Nuvolari. It's important for his race. We see Davi setting the fastest lap, 15.8. Good luck from him.
As I was saying, the pit lane is very short, but the difference in tyre performance isn't that great. So a one-stop is usually the way to go.
It
However,
is
on a damp track, difficult to get the heat in the harder compound of tyres.
Well, I think it's in the in between where it's dried up, where the hards, they will go to the end, but it will be a challenge, and you will be very slow at the end. So I think, though the likes of BTX, Surat, Maldi, Matty, they've all realised that and thought, well, you know, we've not really got anything to lose. Let's just throw on a set of softs and see what we can do.
Especially the likes of Maldi and Matt, because they pit a couple laps earlier, so
I think it still was a lap early for Matt and Maldi, but I mean, it worked out in the end. The front guys stayed out, I think, a lap too long. Maldi is catching Nuvolari very fast, but he will have another pit stop to do. So he needs
Nuvolari's dropped almost 8 seconds off the back of BTX since he's been overtaken.
And you see Surat 5 seconds clear of Kevin. I'd assume most of them will go on a set of mediums to the end.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, some may risk a set of softs though. I mean, we saw people doing 14 odd laps on a set of softs. So it's definitely
possible.
Yeah, it may be soft for these drivers, which actually is, it could work out a lot better. Surat really setting the pace now. But Dan Boss is right on the back of Kevin going into turn 1, and BTX is now set the fastest lap, so he's on a charge as well. Maldi's
you mentioned earlier,
he's
struggling with traction.
Yeah.
So maybe here's a full dry setup.
Yeah. Seems to have come alive in this dry period. But we'll keep an eye on what Maldi's doing. But we are watching Dan Boss now. He's pressuring his compatriot. Been following him all race, but let's see what he does as Davi now sets fastest lap. I think unfortunate race for him. He was looking quite quick. Maddie's now struggling to catch up to the back of Nuvolari all of a sudden. Sort of gained by him 3 seconds in about 2 laps. Surat again. Fastest lap. Yeah, Maddie's now struggling to get back in DRS range of Nuvolari.
Well, it shouldn't be the tyres, as Surat and BTX are still setting fast laps.
They seem to just be trading as they go along. Both of them with a very similar pace at the moment. I think
it'll really help them out if Dan Boss could start fighting Kevin.
I don't see them doing it though, because they both know that the guy, especially Surat in front, who's now got a 7-second gap. If he can go on another set of softs and he's got the same pace that he had in that first stint, if he can get the gap to about 12 seconds, I think he's got a big chance.
Well, because of this short pit lane, he's probably about half the gap he needs already. But the question is, will he be able to get past? Because it's a very difficult track to overtake.
And it will also be, will the guys on the hards actually have a good enough pace late on? You see Dan Boss might be going for a move on Kevin here. He's going to overtake. May slide one up the inside, and he is up the inside of Kevin at turn 1. Kevin leaves him the space on the inside, but he's got the better grip on the outside, and Kevin keeps the place in the end.
Good clean stuff there, and that's exactly what Surat and BTX are going to want.
As you see, sorry, Maldi is now in DRS of Nuvolari, so he needs to start getting a move on. He could be good for... he's going to be around about the P6 places unless he gets a big move on once he clears Nuvolari. So the gap now just under 8 seconds for Surratt. I would say he's going to want to get it at least 10 seconds before he comes into the pits. Those softs only 5 laps old, so they should still be very, very fast. But obviously the advantage won't be as much as it was. Maudi now, still right in the back of Nuvolari. Can he get close enough on the exit of the final corner? And make a move up the inside. He's got enough ERS left. Nuvolari's got a little bit extra than him. He's not going to overtake yet, so he's biding his time.
Yeah, he's happy just to sit it out for now. You don't want to ruin your race in an instant making rash moves.
Well, I suppose it depends on his pace. You know, if he's really quicker than Nuvolari, he needs to try and get past him. As Enzo sets a fast lap on the race on a set of hards.
Maybe this is the time where the pace switches. Softs are getting worn. Hards have got the heat into them now.
That's a brilliant lap on a set of hards. That was a 12.1, I believe.
Talking about the softs going off, Kata on a set of mediums is right on the back of Davi.
Yeah.
He was almost pushing him from turn 1.
Davi was setting the pace. As we see, Surratt now is into the 1 minute 11s. Still pushing out front. But will Kata go for a move on Davi? Not before the middle sector. He's going to probably have to wait until the home straight. Yeah, I think Enzo's still on for a decent result here. He's on a set of hards. He's got very good pace. And I think he's going to at least be in the points. I mean, the gap to Davi is quite big, and obviously he's going to the end. So, can Kata make the move then? Is he going to try and make the move? He is in overtake mode, and Davi's going to go defensive, so Kata's going to have to force round the outside line. And they're side by side through turn 1. Davi gives him a squeeze. Can Kata hold it around the outside? Not quite. Davi leaves him the space. Is he going to go for it all around the outside? He's not. Davi holds the position. Kata's going to have to switch back. Not quite good enough on the exit.
Very fair racing there from Davi. Left him the space on the outside. Even though the move as well, he pretty much had the move done, or had the defence done. Left the space in there, so there was not even a hint of an accident, and he's still kept the position.
I thought Kata might have him around the outside. There is a good grip around the outside of turn 1. But not to be, so he still follows him. Through the final sector now. We've got a yellow flag. That is for Danger Man. He's managed to continue though. And yeah, Davi's run out of ERS, so he's in a charging mode. He goes very defensive again though. Kata's going to go back to the outside line, and this time he's broken a lot later than Davi, and they've touched on the middle of the corner, but Kata's all the way around the outside, and I think he's got the move done this time. He has. Great move from the racing point. Will Davi fight back? I don't think he's got the grip to. And Kata is up now into P10.
Davi gave him the squeeze onto the curb on the left-hand side, but Kata just had the momentum going around the outside.
It was great racing from the two of them. Definitely great respect on the limit, but great racing from the two. And Enzo is now on the back of Matty. Gravity. That gap was 2 seconds. So Matt struggling. Is he going to go for a move into turn 1? He is. He's in overtake mode here. He's probably going to try and get him down the straight. And he is a lot quicker going down into turn 1. Is he going to make a lunge? He's not. A little bit too far back on this occasion. But he will be eyeing up a move throughout this lap. You see the grip that he's got over Matt. I think Matt's softs are just starting to die now. And also Maudi on Nuvolari. Still hasn't got the move done. But he's hanging with him. remember these two's soft tyres are 11 laps old. They were the first to pit. Dambos now still keeping with Kevin. They are not battling at the moment. They've realised that it's important for both their races that they just follow each other for now. And Enzo may be looking for a move again. He is going to do it. Up the inside of Matt. Interesting way to go up the inside. And they're going to be side by side. They've made contact. And Enzo's punted Matt off. And that is a big collision between the two of them. I think it was wheel to wheel. So there'll be no damage for the two. But Matt will not be happy with that at all.
It was an unconventional place to try and make an overtake. It's not a very wide corner.
Yeah,
and
you've got to be far enough
contact
up the inside to make sure that the driver doesn't come around the outside, because going to the outside, as we see yellow flag. Is that Dambos? It is Dambos. Dambos has had a spin and he's lost a big chunk of front wing. And that will be coming through turn 8, the fast turn 8 right-hander. And that's his race pretty much done, Gravity. That's disastrous. Can he recover now? Is he going to come into the pits and possibly put on a set of softs? So we see Maudi's had a spin as well. Maudi.
Oh no.
Round at... Oh dear, he was looking on for a good result. I think he's gotten away with damage. Looks like no damage to the front wing.
Well, it's very, very easy to spin at that corner. If you just hit the curb,
I think that's what
the
he's
car
done.
is round.
Yeah, Dambos into the pits. No surprise there. He'll probably put on a set of softs.
Instead of mediums.
He's on mediums. Interesting. So he doesn't think the softs towards the end. And Maudi has now boxed. So I think his tyres have gone. So yeah, the only real battles on track have all imploded. Which is a shame, but the battle will be late on when we see Serrat box for what we assume for another set of softs. It must be another set of softs now, as he's still out on track.
Maudi's popped onto another set of softs.
He has.
He obviously feels he can go to the end.
And he's in P8 at this point, Gravity. Even with that spin, he could still get himself P6 in this race. It is a shame because, you know, with Dambos having his incident, it definitely gave him an opportunity for an extra place.
Well, he was battling with Enzo, wasn't he? Yet he's, after a whole pit stop, only 7 seconds behind.
No, he wasn't battling Enzo. He was up the road from Enzo. He was battling with Nivellari.
Enzo's battling Matt.
Yeah, Enzo's battling Matt. That was when they made contact. Matt has boxed for another set of softs. Still points available for him in this race. I'd say P9 at least for him is definitely doable. But yeah, he is the closest on track to another driver at the moment. But yeah, we'll talk about the incident with Enzo and Matt. I think... I mean, Enzo had the inside line, but Matt was... he was further enough alongside to warrant space. I think Enzo just went so deep on the brakes that he thought that Matt would back out. As we see, Matt is going to make a move on Verstappen now. Verstappen goes defensive. See Davi into the pits, but yeah, Matt ran the outside. Off turn 1, he needs to get this move done, and he has into turn 1. So he's on the move. Yeah, I think Matt's going to be very, very frustrated with that overtake of Enzo, because obviously it's not really a corner that you go for overtakes on unless you've already got past them on the straight, essentially. It's not one that you can break the latest and get a move up the inside, really. As BTX set of softs.
I feel Enzo was off the track as he made contact with Matt anyway. He was never making that corner.
Yeah, it'll be one definitely the stewards look out. As we see Dambos now setting a purple lap. He will put himself up into P6 after BTX comes out, or will he? No, he won't. And Maudi now sets the fastest lap. So I think
what can Dambos do then?
Result. With Dambos having his incident, he could be on for a podium here. Matt now, fastest lap. So yeah, all the soft runners are going to be constantly improving the fastest lap. At 10.6 is very good, considering that no one got into the 8s in qualifying. Pole was in 9.1. We see the leader.
Surratt is in the pits.
He is. It will be for another set of soft tyres. See Kevin flying past. He will have so much clean air. Gravity is miles ahead of Nuvolari. And we'll see how far behind. He's not that far behind Gravity. 5 seconds.
Yeah.
10 laps to get 5 seconds. I think this could be a very easy strategy for Sarah. This could be an easy win. Obviously, getting past is a different matter, but catching up to him is definitely going to be sooner rather than later.
Well, the gap wasn't really changing when Surratt was on old softs. Now he's put onto brand new softs. The gap's just going to get eaten away rapidly.
Talking about the gap getting eaten away, BTX is now in DRS range of Tavares. So he's on the hunt for this podium. I believe he hasn't stood on the podium this season.
Tavares!
Oh dear. And will BTX launch up the inside? He will. And BTX has already got the move on Tavares. And now he's got to get after Nuvolari.
And there he is.
Yeah, as I was saying, I don't
Visible
think he's
just 3 seconds up the road.
Yeah, I don't think he stood on the podium this season. So, yeah, he's going to be looking for this. Definitely running a dry setup with the pace that he shows in the dry now. So the gap.
Surratt has already taken over 1 second out of the leader.
3.6. So Kevin's going to have to put up the defence of his life to keep this victory. I believe Surratt hasn't won a race this season. Gravity. I will double check that. And that will mean this will be the 5th different winner in 5 races.
Well, if he does go on to win, he'll do it in quite a spectacular fashion.
Yep, I was right in saying what I did. Surratt has not won a race this season. Yeah, he's eating away at the gap still, and as is BTX, already 2.2 ahead of Tavares, only 2.2 behind Nuvolari now.
Dan Boss as well, gaining rapidly on Tavares.
Yeah, and behind
Can
them,
he regain some
Maldi
positions
as well.
from
Maldi
his
and Enzo
mistake?
looking very quick. Yeah, I think he's still got the possibility for P5 on the quicker set of tyres. Gap out in front now, Gravity, 2.2.
It's not going to be long now, is it?
It's not. I think we were expecting a battle late on, but it's going to come earlier than expected. I'm just happy we don't have the overtake graphics from AWS. So you'll be in striking distance in 2 laps. He has really shown his pace here. Him and BTX, I think, have been 2 of the quickest drivers. Obviously, it's hard to tell with the other guys on the hards. Kevin obviously has... he's been consistent. He's definitely going to put up a good fight all the way to the end.
Can't forget Enzo, though. He's been absolutely rapid on that set of hards.
Yeah, I think it's a question of what could have been, especially with him for qualifying so low down. Getting involved in the incident early on, and still he's battling for some good points. And he's not really getting gained on by Maldi so far, so he's really shown his pace. But I think it'll be who will catch who first out of BTX and Surratt. They're both around about the same gap behind the driver in front. And Matt as well, catching the back of Kata. Gap now, Gravity, 1.2 out in front.
It's He's just tickling the 1 second window for DRS.
But Kevin has showed he's got really good pace on these old hards. I think he's quicker on this stint than he was at the start of his hards, because he's keeping the gap to a reasonable level.
Well, don't forget that when Kevin went onto the hards, it was a damp track.
Yeah.
So it'd be much more difficult to get the temperature into the tyres.
So yeah, Surratt is in DRS range. Can he keep it that way? The gap is coming down and down. It's only 8 tenths now. With 6 laps to go when we cross the line. All he needs to do is find his way around. He has got DRS now, but he's used a lot of overtake. Kevin has a lot of overtake saved up. So that could be big for this battle.
That could be a saving grace here.
Yeah, as you see, Surratt's only got 20%. So I doubt he's going to go for a move on this lap. He's pushed quite hard to get into DRS range. Now he's going to have to try and save a bit. He's got plenty of time to make the move. So yeah, this is the lead. This is the battle for the lead now. 2-horse race. BTX just out the DRS range of Nuvolari. And Surratt's really pushing Kevin now through the first sector. And he's right on the back of him. Might be thinking about a move up the inside. He's going to be a little bit too far back on this occasion. But yeah, Kevin just understeers through the high-speed corners. Oh, and Surratt's on the grass there on the exit. It's not going to do him any favours. We see a yellow flag for Verstappen.
That is Verstappen.
He's got a few drivers coming up to him. Hopefully he stays that way. I think he does, so that's good.
Matt's on the back of Kata going into turn 1.
He is. Is he going to make the move around the outside? Back around the outside of turn 1 again. And Kata gives him a squeeze, and they're side by side now through turn 3. Matt around the outside. Good move from the Mercedes driver. That's important for his race. Now he needs to pull away from Kata and cement his place in P9. I don't think he's going to be catching up to the back of Maudi. And Surratt just closing in on Kevin. I think this is going to be more difficult for Surratt than first expected. And Verstappen's out of the race just before the final corner. I think it's too late for a safety car or a virtual safety car at this point. So, oh, we got another one off the track. It's Danger Man at turn 1.
The gap between BTX and Nuvolari has kind of just plateaued a little bit over the past few laps. And, stayed just over the 1 second mark.
Tavares has boxed. Tavares into the pits. That is interesting from the Haas driver. He was on, realistically, cemented his position in this race, and now he's dropped down to P8. He could still catch the back of
Maybe he wasn't convinced he wouldn't end up getting the puncture.
Here we go, Gravity. Surratt's running out of ERS, but he's still in overtake mode. And here we go then, around the outside of turn 1. Is he going to make the move all the way on the outside? He breaks the latest. Is he going to make the move on the outside? Kevin's going to give him the squeeze on the exit, and he manages to just about keep ahead of him for now. And Surratt's pushing him through the sector 1. Is he going to get the switch? Oh, he's hit the back of him. And I think he might have gotten away with that. It doesn't look like any damage to the front wing, but he's really struggling on ERS. He needs to just spend a couple of laps saving the ERS and build it up for one big burst. And he's on the grass again, Surratt.
Yeah, he's got to be careful here not to lose his head. He could take more speed through the corners, so he's got to try not to misjudge things and go into the back of Kevin.
He's lucky to get away with more damage there. You see, Tavares is already on the back of Maudi, Gravity, so keeping on that as well. But this is obviously the battle we want for the lead of the race. Kevin's still got so much ERS he can use, and Surratt is going for the move again. He's up into overtake mode, but he's going to run out before the end of the straight. So I think Kevin might be alright. He's going to have to defend the inside. Surratt again round the outside of turn 1. And this time he is further alongside, so he's going to have space on the exit. They're side by side through turn 2. And Surratt has got the move done around the outside. He takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Can Kevin fight back? He can back up the inside. Is he going to get the slipstream? All the way. And Kevin's lost it on the exit. And that is massive for this race. He's now out of DRS range. Can he drag himself back up and try and make a move? He's got loads of ERS to use, 50% of it with 3 laps remaining. And Surratt, with a good move around the outside, finally got it done. But with the ERS that he's got, is he going to be able to keep ahead of Kevin? As Tavares makes a move on STB Maudi.
Yeah, that was an absolutely fantastic move from Surratt. A long way back, manages to brake late, go all the way around the outside, and then give Kevin the squeeze when he stuck his nose back in a couple corners later, and the big banked left-hander. And that's just given him the gap now to pull away.
Yeah, this is going to be tight to the end. I think the softs are just a little bit too fresh for Kevin to be able to catch up in his late stages. Actually, he's got the ERS to use. He needs to start using it, Gravity. He's 50% with 2 laps to go. He's got nothing to lose now.
Yeah, he's got to throw everything at it.
And with the gap with Nivellari so far as well, he is safe from an attack from behind. It doesn't look as if BTX has made the inroads onto the podium that he was looking for. He's 2.5 behind Nivellari now. And Kevin's really struggling now, Gravity. Those hards are 23 laps old, and he just hasn't got the pace. And he needed to keep Surratt behind. He should have used a bit more ERS down the straight, and he would have been, I think, still ahead of him.
Well, it's easy from his position to see Surratt completely behind him. He defends the inside. He thinks he's safe, but the Surratt breaks so much later and just caught him by surprise.
Well, here we go then. Surratt is your race leader, and he starts his final lap now. And Maudi hasn't quite had the pace that maybe we were expecting in the late stages. And he is in P8. Gives some good points for the Renault team. Surratt is just extending his gap now. I believe both of these drivers are clean of penalties, so either way it should not come down to him needing that 3-second gap. But at this rate, he could still get the 3-second gap.
I have to say, Nuvellari has done a very good job.
He has.
On that set of hards. Especially since the Pitters came out behind him. He's just super consistent, super fast, and BTX and Dan Boss haven't been able to get anywhere near him.
Oh, Surratt's just picked up a penalty, Gravity. Oh my goodness, on 2 laps to go, Surratt has picked up a penalty. And that is massive for this race. And as he comes through the final corner, I was about to say he's gone from P5 to P1, but he runs the final corner now, crosses the line in provisional P1. But Kevin will cross the line now, just behind him, and he wins the Dutch Grand Prix. Oh. Wow. That is
drama right
disaster.
At the end.
Oh, Surratt with a brilliant race from P5 on the grid, but he's made a vital mistake on the final lap. Nuvellari comes home in P3, a great race from him. BTX in P4, he does beat Dan Boss even with the penalty to P4. Enzo crosses the line, good race from him up into P6. Tavares crossing the line now, he will be P7. Maudi will be just behind him, he crosses the line in P8. Matt, difficult race for him when he's in the championship hunt. But he will round the final corner in P9, and Kata will be 4 seconds down the road from him. He will cross the line P10. And they were the only drivers on the lead lap. But wow, what an end to that race, Gravity. We thought Surratt had it in the bag. And just a tiny mistake.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Cost him the lead. Wow.
Just a couple corners to go. He didn't need to push
two corners to go. He had the gap. All he had to do was bring it home. Oh, that's heartbreak for the Williams driver. It would have been, yeah, it would have been the 5th different winner in 5 races, but Kevin is your first repeat winner for this Season 17 Tier 2 Championship, and he will take the championship lead. I mean, it was a great drive from Surat, regardless of the final result. Came from P5 on the grid. Went for the aggressive
I think
2-stop strategy.
driver of the day.
Yeah, anybody that in the chat, let us know your driver of the day. We'll see what you guys think. For me, I think it would be Enzo. I think he had great pace throughout the race, up into P6. So yeah, I'd give my driver of the day to Enzo.
I really want to give it to Surat, but that mistake right at the end.
I would have been Surat for me, but that costly mistake. But here is your grid for Dutch Grand Prix. Kevin takes the victory. Surat will finish P2. Nuvolari is the final step on the podium. BTX P4, Downboss P5, FXBR Enzo P6, Tavares P7, Maudi was P8, Matty finished P9, and Kata takes your final point in P10. Right, we'll see if we can get anybody in for an interview. I know that a lot of the Brazilian drivers, they don't speak the best English, so we can't give them an interview. I will see Kata, maybe, and BTX, possibly, if they can do an interview. Oh, well, we were worried that it would be a bit of a ball fest around Netherlands, but it was a good race in the end.
Yeah, it was anything but a ball fest.
Yeah, we had the battle for the lead late on, drama on the final lap. But yeah, we've got BTX in the party. BTX, are you able to just have a quick interview after the race?
Yeah, sure. No worries.
Right, lovely.
That's
if you'd
fine.
like to just include your audio in the party, we'll give you a little rundown.
I've done so.
So, a good race, I'd say, in the end. Good result. You went for the aggressive 2-stop in the end. What was the decision to go for that 2-stop rather than straight into the hards when the weather dried up?
It was pretty clear. I knew that I had pace. Pace and soft is obviously much quicker than the hards. And I also saw that we had about, it was 26 laps, if I'm correct. And that's exactly two stints of a soft.
Yeah.
And I knew I was gonna be able to catch a lot of cars. Unfortunately, due to the first 10 laps, I had such a I think 14 or 12 seconds gap to the leader, just because I was just getting holed up so massively. I tried every single line I could just to get him past him during the interface. Unfortunate. During the wet weather, it's just very hard to overtake, especially in the Netherlands. You have 2 straights where you can really do an attempt, and that's about it. I must say I really enjoyed this. It was some very close battles. I was pushing for 3rd place. I knew I had 6 or 7 laps before my softs would go off. At my 6th lap, I was at 0.9 seconds gap to him. Unfortunately, he got a DRS from a benchmarker, and that just threw everything. Because I just saw him go 2 tenths, 3 tenths. It was 1.2 seconds, and I knew my tires were 41%. I knew it was done. So I just gently backed off, and I picked up a very late 3-second penalty, which made me drive more cautious to make no mistakes and keep that 4 to 5 second gap to P5.
Well, either way, you had some very, very strong pace in that race. Does that give you confidence going forward to next week? Do you feel that you can maybe go a step up and possibly stand on the podium?
Let's say that's always the aim. I don't settle for less, so yeah, for sure, man.
Well done today. Good result from you, and thank you for the interview. And
Yes,
we've
thank you
also
for asking.
That's all right. We've also got Kata in the party. Kata, are you able to do a quick interview after the race?
Yeah, I'm able to speak.
Lovely. If you'd like to just include your audio in the party, and we'll just give you a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
questions.
I've done it already.
So, a difficult race for you, I'd say. We were watching you early on. You had some very strong pace, but you know, a series of unfortunate incidents sort of meant you were down.
I think the race was pretty nice. First part I started 7 on the grid. First few laps were pretty good. I had the pace to stay with the first drivers, but I had the contact with the Red Bull, I think, and I broke my front wing, and the race was completely over. And I went with medium tires to go to the end. I've done 28 laps. I don't know how I've done it, but yeah, the pace was pretty nice. I'm pretty happy about that, and we have to continue like this.
Obviously, you missed out on racing last season.
Yeah.
Last week, sorry, in China.
Yeah, still last season because I raced I raced for the championship last season. I've done 3 races, but I have to left for some problems. And yeah, I miss China, I miss Vietnam and other tracks for some problems. So I think come back on track with some points is always a good sensation, a good feeling. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Well, are you still going for the championship in this season? Do you still feel like that's achievable?
I don't know. I haven't seen the standing championship before the race, but I think there are a lot of races to do. I think they have the pace to stay with the drivers in front, like Kevin or other drivers are very fast. So I think that I can fight maybe for top 5 because I lost 3 races because I missed up. But I continue like this to try to win a championship to go to top 3.
Well, commiserations tonight. I'm sure next week will bring you a lot better luck. And thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you.
Well, Gravity, that wraps up the first Dutch Grand Prix. It definitely didn't disappoint in the end. But yeah, Kevin is your first repeat winner for this Tier 2 season. But who will come out on top next week? Well, you have to join us to find out. We'll see you then.